So, I'm Nick. And this is Tim. Okay, so I'm Tim. This is Nick. This is our first ever podcast that we're really excited about, and we are going to be addressing some of the challenges that come up every day in the fitness industry, and also some of the backing story that goes behind some of the mindset that's involved in the industry. And we're going to be talking today about some hot topics. I would say.
All of these things will impact you if you live in London, go to the gym, live in any city. I think it's probably applicable wherever you go.
Yeah, agreed. Just general lifestyle. I think these challenges that everybody comes up against, people are going to really resonate with what's going on in this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you'll have heard Tim talk a lot before. Tim obviously likes to communicate with his followers quite a bit.
I do like a chat.
You do like a chat. Yeah, you do like a chat. He is definitely a talker. I, on the other hand, am known as the quiet man of the group.
Not so long.
Yeah, when you get Tim and I combined, there's going to be a lot of talk. So, Tim, where do you think we should start then? So this is our first one. So I think it's really important actually for Tim, first of all, to talk a little bit where he comes from in terms of fitness and health and mindset, because I think that's going to lead us on to exactly the stuff we want to cover.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about mindset first, I think, because that's predominantly where I feel everything comes from and starts. I think that getting your mind in the right place is imperative for you to move forward in any aspect of your life, let alone fitness. I feel that it gets overlooked quite a lot, mindset, because I feel that right now, especially the world we live in, everything needs to be done fast. Everybody's patience levels are very low. And I feel that if it's not done within a minute, or done within 2 minutes, or I'm going to put a time cap on it, but it's not worth the extra work. So, for example, bodies. People want a certain body within a certain amount of time. However, they don't realise and appreciate and understand what needs to go in to it in order to get that result.
So I think that's really interesting. Okay, because when I speak to a lot of people about training, and I'm not a professional trainer, by the way, I just like my fitness, and I've learned from some great people like Tim. A lot of them go, how can I lose this much weight before my holiday in 2 weeks' time? How can I fit into this dress within 3 weeks' time? It feels like there's a bit of a rush to get to it, and it doesn't feel like they have taken on the whole issue of health and fitness for their lifestyle. It's something that they'll do for a goal, then they drop it, and then they move on. Do you think Instagram and things like that are causing us? We're seeing the end results all the time, or what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's quite easy to edit, suck in your stomach, do certain poses to make you look better than what you are.
Yeah,
100%. I've edited some of my photos, and I don't mean body-wise, but I'll brighten up my eyes, I'll sharpen the picture, make it look like I've got better lighting. But one thing I've never done is enhanced any body parts or anything like that. I've never said this is where I am currently, etc., in my core or my abs or my chest or whatever. And I think it's pretty, I think this needs to be spoken about, and I'm really open and honest, and it's very rare that you will see somebody say, well, my photos are edited on Instagram, my photos are this, but that's me, I'm pretty raw and straight.
So are you very much one of those people who thinks the magazine's too much airbrushing?
100%. Look, we've done pictures before, right? Sometimes you don't get the right lighting. Sometimes you can enhance an image by better lighting or better editing, and you want the images that you're taking to be impactful, right? And the more impactful and moving an image is, and more memorable it is, the better it's going to be for what you're doing as a brand, etc., etc. But I think that people are taking this far too far, and what's happening is you're getting a lot of people now that are looking, especially people say, oh, I want to look like this person, on Instagram. I want to look like this person on YouTube. And sometimes it's not the real person you're seeing on these things. So I think that when that happens and people say, right, 6 week shred, abs in 6 weeks, abs in 4 week burn. You know, you can do as many sit-ups as you want. I don't care whether you're doing 1,000 sit-ups a day. If you're not eating right, you might as well just throw it out the window.
So I mean, you know, because in terms of the mindset that sets in you, and you say, yeah, 4 week burn, go, you know, and then the end of it you go, okay, maybe you achieve it. Tell you what, maybe you do it in 6 weeks, all right? Then what happens? Is your mind actually going to be in the right place?
To being sustainable.
Yeah. And is your mind going to be in the right place for that? Is that something that's really going to change your life in terms of, yeah, so great, you've got your 6-pack abs, 6 weeks time, actually is that going to make you particularly happy afterwards? Does that impact you? Does your life change? Is this a sustainable activity?
Well, it's certainly not sustainable because it's a short-term goal. So unless there's a longer-term goal in place, and you know that, and short-term goals are great. I've got them short, medium, long. And if you're ticking them off, and that's great. And if you achieve something within a certain space of time, which is a short space, amazing, brilliant, well done. However, most things that are achieved over a short period of time is a quick fix. It's not a lifestyle change. I mean, how many times have you seen people's weight fluctuate and be like, wow, he's super lean here, and then he's looking a bit podgy, or
hey, it's the Hello Magazine celebrity fitness drive.
People are making a living off the back of becoming ripped, then fat, then ripped, and then fat. You know, and where does that really sit within this industry? Because what people need to appreciate, and when people come to me, and I'm completely honest with people, you know, I'm not a magician. I can't undo 3 years of bad choices through food in 6 weeks. It's just not, it's not possible. All right, you are going to be able to get down to a certain body fat, depending whatever body fat you're at, you know, when you start, if you start living and breathing the lifestyle that you want, or that you perceive should be for you, right? The more I find myself being balanced, the more I find myself being patient. The more patient I am, the easier things become for me to tick off and move on.
And is this a new thing in terms of lack of patience? Is this something we've seen in the last 5-10 years, do you think? Or is this something that's always been there, or has it got worse?
Well, it's got worse, in my opinion. There's always been a shortage of patience, but let me give you a little example. You've got a situation, and I use Instagram because it's my social media platform that I like to impact with, and you know, we went from how quick, 17 seconds on Instagram, bang, we need something in 17 seconds to be impactful. You know, 6 week ad burning blue, you're going to get you down to this body fat, you're going to do this amount of reps, you're going to do this, see you later, bye, see you in 6 weeks. Whoa, gee, like, you know, let's slow this down.
But it's the prime generation, isn't it? Right? So I can go on my iPhone now, I could say, right, I want this, I want it in an hour. And someone will come around and deliver it to me. I want a takeaway. Great, straight there, done, 30 minutes, right, on an app. And then you have to speak to anybody.
Agreed,
So that's going to have an impact.
Well, when that happens, I ask you this, what does it mean to you? Has it got as much meaning? If you can click your fingers and something be there, it's like, for example, if you was, and I've got to be careful what I'm saying here because it totally depends on your upbringing, but if you have completely grafted for every single thing that you've got, and it's taken time over a decade, and you're on the other hand, you've got another situation where you've ended up earning, and I talk about money because it makes the world go round, as they say. If you've ended up earning a certain amount of money within a month, that's normally taken somebody else 10 years, is that going to have the same amount of value to you?
Probably not.
And this is where we're at, you know, because that over a month is a quick fix of, quick turnover money, quick, when you want more, it hasn't got as much value. And it's the same when you start investing in yourself.
So how do you have a conversation with people about patience then? What can those people watching our first podcast right now, what can they do to improve their patience when it comes to improving their body, improving their mindset?
Well, I think you've got to be in the moment more. I think you've got to be in the now to really be patient with what's going on. You've got to 100%. You need to have a structure within your life, a plan. If you've got a plan, you can then within that plan have goals, short, medium, long term. They could be relationship goals, they can be fitness goals, work goals, spiritual goals, whatever they may be, all right? But if you've got them in place, you know you've got a certain amount of time.
Well, I think people do put too much pressure on themselves. And we see this Instagram generation actually is a little bit like that. Instagram's great for sharing moments, for keeping track of your friends, finding what's going on. I say with Facebook and Twitter and all of these sort of social medias. But I definitely agree sometimes people look at the stories that people share and think that's every moment of their life. And of course they're just windows and they're moments, and there's goods and there's bads and there's ups and downs.
I mean, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur nowadays, and especially with social media platforms, it's doable.
And it's great. It's great that people want to take that control of their lives.
100. I mean, look, the more entrepreneurial people that we have, the more success there's going to be in the world, and the better, hoping, the world can be, because we know more.
Yeah.
All right. So, but I think there's, along with pressure, there's also an expectation now to have a certain amount of followers, for example, a certain amount of likes. You know,
chasing those likes.
Always chasing the likes. How many likes have I got? How many likes have I got?
You know why they're red, don't you?
You know?
You know why they're red? The notifications, because they grab your attention. Right, red is the alert colour.
There you go.
So even that's why every single one of them, it's red.
Yeah. So that, well, I mean, look, it's, you can't start judging your life on likes, but
nice to have likes, though.
It's lovely to have. I do like a like.
Before we go off the subject, since everyone's watching it now, of course, Sofa Chat with Tim and Nick.
Yeah.
So you're saying that in order to get that patience, first of all, you need the structure.
Yeah.
So you need to set yourself some smart goals.
Yeah. You need a plan.
Yeah.
You need a plan.
So smart goals, for those people who are not sure, small, measurable.
Yeah.
Something
achievable.
Yeah. Realistic.
Yeah. There you go.
T.
Yeah.
That's your problem. That's your test. That's not your problem. That's your task to go find out. The T is
they're targeted.
Targeted.
Yeah,
There we are.
I'm pretty sure, because I was the same. If you ask somebody, what is your life plan? Have you got a life plan? And I mean, do you know where your legacy is? What are you going to leave behind? It's a really strong and impactful question to ask somebody. What do you want to leave behind? What do you want people to say about you? What impact do you want to have on the world while you are here? And what do you want to leave when you're gone?
Yeah.
And for me, I want people to remember me for the amount of people that I've helped. That's what I want. That is the start of my legacy, of my life plan.
Yeah.
This is my, so, and then when you haven't got a life plan and somebody says, what's your life plan? You'd be like, I want to, train here, I want this job, I want to go on this holiday, I want to have this car, I want to have that. It's a little bit blasé, it's a little bit sort of...
Well, it's kind of what you hear people say is they go, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? People give you a job title. I want to be a director. I want to be a business owner. Very few people say, I want to be someone who helps people.
Very rare.
I want to be someone who has empathy. I want to be someone who's brave and stands up for things. Do you know Arnold Schwarzenegger always says that? Don't ask what you want to be. Ask who do you want to be.
Who do you want to be? I mean, look, we're all... Who are we? Is all based... I've got my... No. There you go.
Yeah, he's not going
I'm making myself at home.
He has made himself at home, that's for certain.
I mean...
Maybe he hasn't got socks.
I have.
Do you need socks? I mean,
no.
That's a smart goal we can arrange for you.
Listen, just show him the socks, Nick.
My socks are fantastic.
Exactly.
Right, so unsurprisingly, our first 20-minute podcast, the first session went on for 20 minutes. because someone's a talker.
I did state that.
So we were going to cover three things. Three things we wanted to cover, right? I forgot what they were already. A bit of patience, and an intro to Tim and Nick, obviously, or as Tim likes to refer to us, Tim and Nick. We're going to talk a little bit about Fat But Fit, which is the results of some science. Science, yeah, I do like a bit of science. I can do science so hard right now.
Yeah.
That some research come out about health and everything else, which relates to obesity and everything. We'll come to that in a second. And then we're going to set someone a challenge, aren't we?
Yes.
So
basic. Don't worry,
he's going to run into it.
I'm not going to.
So let's talk about Fat But Fit. Okay. So in the last couple of weeks, you may have seen in the newspapers and everything else results of a study which says that there used to be, there's a belief you can be overweight but healthy.
Yeah.
All right. And this paper says it's not true.
Okay.
Right. And there's two things about it. It says that if you are overweight or obese, you are at much higher risk of heart disease.
Correct.
Number one killer in the UK, heart disease.
Correct.
The second thing is also obesity does cause certain types of cancers. Actually, a direct cause. I think about 3 different kinds of cancers. Actually, it might be more than that. And we have this sort of conflicts. Actually, it's quite hard. This is a hard subject to address.
It's a touchy subject.
So we're going to be honest and talk about it. And we really like people's views.
I think opinion is quite a strong. Not quite as strong, but I think my opinion and your opinion may be different to somebody else's, but that's why we're doing the podcast, right?
Yeah. So I thought let's say people's views.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we had a chat before this, and we felt that there is now a belief that that body image perceptions have changed, and as people have gone away from very, very thin views of beauty, which I think has been driven by catwalk models and everything else, and kind of forced upon us, that there's been a big sway to the other way. Now we have a lot of what the industry calls plus size models, and some of them actually are overweight.
Yeah, agreed.
And we've been told now for a while that you can be fat but fit, and that's not true. So I mean, how do we deal with that? Actually, that's a really difficult discussion, isn't it? Because now a lot of people are saying, well, actually, these are real bodies, or that it's okay to be overweight and still be beautiful, and we're not making judgments there. But you're not healthy, and so is this a bad thing? Should we be telling people actually you shouldn't be overweight? It's not it's not the right thing.
Well, first and foremost, let's just go straight for the jump, Nick. I think that models that walk down the catwalk, when you're talking about real slim models that have been around for years, let's just get it straight from the start. They're not very healthy either.
No, they're not.
So I'm on the other scale, or on the other side of the scale rather, being overweight and being classed as obese is not healthy either. So I think that health and the way you look are two different aspects, two different things.
Yeah.
What is physically attractive to me might not be physically attractive to the next person. So I think there's been a big push into saying just because you're a size 14 or a 16 or an 18, it doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. And we're not saying that. We're not saying that you're not beautiful on the inside. We're not saying that at all. But what I think what needs to be addressed is this. If you are holding a certain percent of body fat, it can cause damage to your health and health issues, heart problems, for example. If you are eating and your nutrition is based upon a diet that is high in trans fats, man-made fats, then you're going to come up against heart problems and challenges.
Yeah.
And it's a real in-depth scientific discussion that we try and keep as simple as we can.
Yeah, because it is quite complex.
Yeah,
we're not.
I'm not saying I'm a scientist. I'm not saying I know everything about the nervous system or the digestive. I'm not, or the respiratory. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is based upon my knowledge and based upon my experience. When you are holding a certain amount of body fat and your nutrition is a certain way, then you are unhealthy. And what you need to look at is, put it this way, just because disaster isn't right in front of you does not mean it's not round the corner. Mm-hmm. I think that what people need to look at is, what is this doing to their body inside? Mm-hmm. Let's forget about external, because it's what everybody talks about. Externally, I've got to look like, she looks great, he looks great, I want to look like, that's all you hear, is I want to look like. Now, if it was something along the lines of, I want to feel like, that is a lot more powerful, because it's the feeling that drives you to have a healthier lifestyle. It's the feeling of running for a bus and not being out of breath. It's the feeling of completing a task that you'd normally come up against, which is challenging, and it not being as challenging anymore because you are fitter, healthier. Now, internally, when you have got bad nutrition, you will put on a certain amount of body fat externally, but inside, what is that really, really doing to you? And, I'll give you a little, for people watching this, a little bit of education on how it builds up in your arteries. Now, if you can imagine like a honeycomb with inside a crunchy bar.
There.
Yeah, we're on it. So
it's Saturday today, so we missed the Friday feeling.
Yeah, right? It's gone, but listen, there's always Sunday. So, you imagine you've got a tube or a hose pipe, a garden hose. You imagine if your blood flow is going through that hose pipe. It's flowing through nicely, you turn it on, you turn it off, it all flows, it comes out the other end, you can do the plants, flowers with it, etc, etc. Now you stick a honeycomb inside that. All of a sudden, you've got this pressure that starts to build up through this pipe, and you're like, wait a minute, the other end, it's not coming out, it's not flowing as much, right? Because there's a build up inside the tube, and that's exactly what the fats are doing that's exactly what bad nutrition is doing. Now, if you start to build up a high blood pressure, your heart rate goes up a lot faster, which means you're putting a lot more stress on your heart when you start to perform types or levels of activity at any intensity. So again, I've gone off on one, but
not like you.
Yes, very unlike me to go off like this.
So I think our conclusion then around fat but fit is, you can't be fat but fit. You can't have a really poor diet and expect to be fit. You need balance.
Correct.
You need to look after your heart.
Yeah.
And you need to consider how you're feeling internally as well.
Internally first, straight away. Internally first. It doesn't matter what you look like on the outside when it comes to the inside, because at the end of the day, when it all comes down to the crunch, your heart is not on your skin, is it? It's not on aspects, it's the inside. It's inside your body. And if it's not fit and it's not healthy, and your blood pressure isn't low enough for you to perform activity without your heart rate skying up, rocketing, then you need to address, one, your nutrition, and secondly, your fitness level, your intensity of training.
Words from Tim.
That's my view, as Nick would say.
Okay, so coming to the end of this massive podcast, which is supposed to be really short.
Gutted.
Editing will be important this one. How much of Tim's speeches ends up on the cutting room floor is the
Oh,
question.
come on, Nick.
Obviously, nothing from mine will be cut because it's all awesome.
Agreed.
So, one of the things Tim and I wanted to do was to leave you with something positive to do as a result of what we've talked about. So, I think Tim's gonna. So, patience is one thing we've covered today, and sort of internal health, and balance and structures and things we've spoken about. So, I think, Tim, you've got a bit of a call to action for people watching.
Yeah, I have actually, and it's very, very simple, and it's always the way that things should start, with the fundamentals, as we've spoken about. So throughout the next week, try your absolute best to look into. So think of things that you normally do throughout the week, and start to look into ways that you can cut down, or you can cut down, for example, taking the car. You can cut down on taking the lift. Take the stairs, take the dog out for more walks, all right? Go for more walks with your loved ones. Go for more walks with your friends. You know, sometimes walk.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't cost anything.
No.
You can just get out and walk if you need to walk. And especially in London, it's such an amazing city. And even if you're outside of London, there's so many beautiful places. But let me give you a little example. I normally take the car if my mum asks me when I go around. Tim, can you go up and get some milk from the garage? I've run out. Now, it's a 5-minute drive. Last time I went, I walked. And the reason that I walked was because I thought, I'm just going to get some fresh air. I wanted to clear my mind a little bit. But in the end, I didn't realise how important it was, because my mum's lived in that place for 18 years. And I must have walked past 6 or 7 different places that I didn't even know was there.
Really?
Just by walking. So what I've done is, I've not only got out, started walking, done more exercise than I would have that day already, but I've got to know the area better. You know, on that way, and this didn't happen, but you might stop off and have a chat with someone. Mm-hmm. That person might be the person
you've definitely stopped off and had a chat with someone.
But that person might be the person you spend the rest of your life with.
Absolutely.
You know, so the more isolated you are, the less open you are to opportunity.
Yeah.
So get out. It's a real nice. I love this time of year because
I love it. You can walk around really quickly, can't you? You don't get too hot and sweaty.
And the winter clothes are going to start coming out soon. And you know, I just think get out more. There's a big world out there. Start, and again, this is me.
So this is so Tim started the small challenge, which was just so you understand.
All right, get out more and start doing more exercise. You know I can't summarise.
So this is you have to understand. This is what every day is like with Tim. This is why you can't do 20-minute podcasts, because it's just everything goes from like we're talking about 1 thing to 10 things.
I've got a lot to share.
So to clarify, right? Yeah. Our call to action, people watching, is walk instead of taking the car.
Correct. Yeah.
Take the stairs instead of the lift.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're on the 20th floor, you know, I mean,
take the last. Walk up 10.
Walk up 10.
There you go.
Or take the last few, or something like that. How about getting off the bus stop a couple of stops there?
Yeah, and again, how about not getting on a bus?
Yeah.
You know, you can break it down and whatever you want to do. In a nutshell, you know when you're choosing cutting corners or not walking or doing something to fitness. You know when you're not doing it. You know, if there's opportunities where you can walk, then walk. That's all I'm saying.
I do it every morning and after work.
Well, it's where
I go to the bank and then I walk to St. Paul's.
It's where it all starts.
Yeah.
It's where it all starts. That is when you start to burn body fat.
Yeah.
All right. So get out, get amongst it. Tell your friends to do the same. It's where all fitness starts, right? We all started with zero equipment, just walking. That's where it all starts. Get out, get outside more. Do love a pointy finger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He loves me. Really.
So that's, I think, podcast 1.
Podcast number 1 done.
Let us know what you think. If there's anything you want us to cover. Hopefully we haven't rambled on too much.
Here he goes.
And we really want to hear people's views, actually.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're doing these to get opinions and views back off of people in order for us to then move on and address other subjects and create more content and add value.
So we've got some great ideas, haven't we, for stuff?
Yeah, we've got some great ideas, some good things. Yeah, and also I think it's nice to maybe touch on some of them ideas before we do the next ones, and just get people's opinion on subjects that we're going to address as well.
I'd love to hear what people want to talk about.
Yeah, agreed.
Tim has an opinion on most things, so as do I.
I think your opinion's just as strong as mine, Nick. I just ramble. Let's just have a moment, by the way, for Nick's haircut.
Yeah. It's pretty sharp, right?
It's as I would say, Nick, it's double powerful.
Double powerful.
Double powerful. And he come in the gym today and he said to me, Tim, why have you not got your hair cut? And I thought to myself on the way here, I've got a bit of hair envy.
Nah.
Doesn't he look well?
Hey, I've got bicep envy though, so I can't really argue. There it is. There it is. SN there.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.